A pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome in to Wittenberg University's Pam Evans Smith Arena from Springfield, Ohio, for the second semifinal matchup of the OHSAA Division II Boys State Volleyball Semifinals. So glad to have you along with us for this evening's final game of four. It has been an exciting day of volleyball, and it'll continue tomorrow with state championship games at noon and at 3 o'clock. With Jackie Klein, I'm Chris Solwecki. Thanks so much for joining us. And this fourth and final matchup, the second of the Division II setup, features the Stallions of St. Francis DeSales with a record of 18-4, and the Blue Devils of Independence with a record of 10-4. Coach Lexi Prokopis and Andy Feltz set to do battle in this last semifinal matchup. And Jackie, when you look at these two teams, you look at a team from St. Francis DeSales that has a 6'7" setter, right? An unbelievable size for a setter. And you've got a group from Independence that is as varied as you can find. It's going to be an awful lot of fun to watch these two contrasting styles of volleyball teams.
This is Independence High School's first year for boys volleyball ever.
And they're here.
And they're here.
How about
and
that?
They have always had a good girls volleyball team. So it's going to be really fun to watch them play. Now, the player to watch for Independence for the Blue Devils is number 3 senior Christian Tripodi. He is the player to watch for this team. He also goes by the name of Cubby. And he ended up first team for his region, all-state honorable mention. The team really needed a setter this year, and he stepped up for that leadership role. He's going to have to make smart decisions today on who he distributes the ball to, because he's not going to want to keep his hitters in front of these tall Stallions. He's going to have to spread out that block. Now, Independence has to work hard to get block touches. They're going to want to slow the ball down coming from DeSales. Hopefully they can attack from the service line, which will get DeSales out of system, and that would keep some of the Stallions from hitting high, hard, and fast.
With the Stallions, however, they've got a team, of course, they've got their big setter in the middle, but they've got so much more on this team. Let's talk a little bit about players to watch for the Stallions, and let's talk about that 6'8" setter.
So the Stallions, the player to watch is number 7 senior Cameron Hoying. He's 6'8". And believe it or not, he's a setter, which is unreal. His height is going to allow DeSales to deliver a fast offense. When Hoying's in the front row, we can expect him to dominate at the net, both as a blocker and as an option offensively on that second ball contact. Now, their game plan needs to be serving tough and dominating the net, both on offense and defense. I actually expect the Stallions to have a great serving game today, so they may not have a lot of stats, you know, as far as kills or blocks, because it might all come from the service line.
Now, we watched as the day went on that the very first set for each one of these semifinal matchups saw a few nerves, right? This is a big deal. It's the first ever OHSAA state tournament, and then beyond that, you're one of the final 4 teams in the state in your division, so there's a lot riding on this game. Talk to me about what happens in between the starting serve and the first time out, and what each team is going to want to try to accomplish.
Yeah, usually the butterflies are going, and there's a lot of adrenaline, and you have to learn how to just breathe through it and remember kind of the muscle memory of, hey, I really love this game, and I'm just going to play.
The officials are making their way to the ladder. I'll tell you who they are. Gary Ostkar is the ladder official. Jeff Klein is the second referee. Anthony Hines and Troy Denefield are going to be serving as line judges. And we mentioned this in the last matchup, but you may go to a high school volleyball game and find parents or students working as line judges here. All of these line judges, all of these officials are OHSAA sanctioned, State of Ohio sanctioned. They've been through the training. They're very good at what they do. And it makes a difference on those line calls, on those touch calls. We've seen an awful lot of tough calls made very well today.
We need more referees. So if you're listening and you love the game of volleyball, please consider coming out and learning how to become a ref, or coming out and just being a ref, because we just don't have enough of them.
Yeah, and that's true of all sports across the OHSAA, football, basketball, baseball. and the volleyball as well. So please make sure that you're a part of that. And if you have a heart for that at all, we would love for you to be a part of officiating in the state of Ohio. It is time to celebrate America on this Memorial Day weekend with the playing and singing of our national anthem. So we'll step aside for that, and then we'll come back with the starting lineups and much, much more right after this.
Our national anthem.
The playing of our national anthem, sung by fans on both sides of Pam Evans Smith Arena here at Wittenberg University. So grateful to be able to partner with great universities like Wittenberg for these state championship opportunities. And this one's going to be very, very fun tonight. Lots of excitement coming your way between the Stallions of St. Francis DeSales and Independence, the Blue Devils. The Stallions are wearing white uniforms with gray numbers outlined in black. They also have black across their shoulders. The Blue Devils are wearing blue jerseys, as you might expect, with yellow down the sides and trimmed around the shoulders. They have their letters and numbers in white outlined in gold, and we are just about set to get rolling with them. I'm waiting for our starting lineups to jump onto our screen here. So while we're waiting for that, Jackie, I will ask you, here we are, the fourth one. What are your expectations? What are your hopes? What are your aspirations for these two teams as they get ready to go?
Well, I'm just looking over at the Stallions in white, and then I look over at Independence in blue, and there's definitely a height difference.
Yeah.
You know, and that height difference is going to play a vital role in the game of volleyball, and especially this game today. Now, it is going to start on the service line. So I think whichever team serves the toughest today with the least amount of errors is going to come out on top.
Starting lineups now set for St. Francis DeSales. They will start like this. Number 2 is Aaron Fermalon. Fermalon is a libero. He's 5'10", and he's a junior. Wearing number 5 is Michael Hunsaker. Hunsaker is a middle blocker, 6'2" senior. Wearing number 7 is the player to watch. He is Cameron Hoying, a 6'8" senior setter. Luke Gabrielli is wearing number 8. Gabrielli is an oppo hitter. He's 6'1", and he's a senior. Cameron White wears number 10. He's an outside hitter. He is 5'11", and he's a senior. Zane Patterson wears number 13. He's an outside hitter, and he is a 6'5" senior. And Evan Althouse. Althouse wears number 15. He's a 6'6" outside hitter, and he is a senior. The head coach is Andy Feltz. For Independence, their starting lineup looks like this. Starting at number 2, Joey Spicagna. He is a middle hitter, outside hitter, 6'1" senior. Christian Tapodi, he's our player to watch. He wears number 3. His nickname is Cubby. He's a setter. He's 5'10", and he is a senior. Number 5 is Anderson Sears. His nickname is Sonny. He's a libero, defensive specialist, a 5'7" freshman. Jamie Panicki wears number 10. Wears number 10, defensive specialist, 5'9", also a freshman. Noah Toronto wears number 11. Toronto is a outside hitter, receiving specialist. He's 5'10", and he is a sophomore. Wyatt Snyder wears number 22. He's an outside hitter, 6'2", and he's a junior. And Landon Jatzik, middle hitter, receiving specialist. He's 6'4", and he's a junior. The head coach for Independence is Lexi Procopius, and we are just about set to go. The two teams are meeting at the net to shake hands, to show camaraderie and sportsmanship, and then we will be ready to serve this one. We've mentioned in each of the 3 previous matchups, if you're not familiar with high school volleyball or intercollegiate volleyball, you know that there's a different uniform on both sides. For Independence, it's number 5, Anderson Sonny Sears, and for St. Francis DeSales, it's number 2, Dominic Trolley. Those guys, Aaron Fimelin, those guys are the liberos, and so they will be defensive specialists, and they will be able to get out there a number of different times throughout the match tonight if they need to do that. So they are about set. DeSales is on your left. The Blue Devils are getting set to go from right to left.
Coach Feltz for DeSales is no stranger to a state tournament. He has been here both for the boys and also the girls. He coached the girls when his daughter Amy was part of the program, and I got him on the phone this week, and it was fun talking to him. He just loves volleyball, and you know, he's really excited about this group of boys. He says they give their best every day in practice, and it's going to be a fun matchup.
Fermalon just came out for St. Francis DeSales, as he is going to be, as the defensive specialist, as a libero, he's going to be out there. He's wearing the purple jersey with white numbers. And as I mentioned, Anderson Sears, known as Sonny among his teammates, wearing the white jersey with blue numbers, blue letters outlined in gold. We are about set to go. St. Francis DeSales will serve. Cameron White to do the honors. He tosses, he swings hard. That one is going to be overpassed and out of play, so the first point comes off the first serve. An ace for White, 1-0 Stallions. Cameron smacks the ball 3 times. Big toss, once again, hits it hard, dug up. Back set, cross court. Fermalon outside, sent across, handled. Near side. Big swing, and off the hands of Wyatt Snyder and out of play. 2-0 Stallions. Pretty good rally for early in this matchup, but the advantage goes to St. Francis DeSales.
White's doing a good job of just making sure these first few balls go in, but he has a good toss, and there it is. There's a more aggressive swing.
A quick overpass, back set, back row. White sends it to the corner. Not played terribly well. Looks like it's going to be a free ball across. It is indeed. Fermalon to the setter Hoying outside. Big swing and down. That point goes to Evan Althouse, and the Stallions out to a quick 3-0 advantage.
Coach Feltz talked to me a lot about Evan Althouse. He's really the go-to hitter for the Stallions. We're going to talk about Hoying quite a bit as the setter, and of course he's tall, but you can't do anything for points unless you got a big hitter, and that's who Althouse is for the Stallions.
That's off of touch, and so the Blue Devils dent the scoreboard for the first time. They trail 3-1. Quickly in off the bench is number 23, Landon Jacek. And going to the serving line is Anderson Sonny Sears, 5'7" freshman. Off the tape, Fermalon comes up with it outside. Big swing, and that one off the arm of Sears, but he can't control it. And the ball goes back to the Stallions, 4-1.
So Hunsaker's going back to serve, and he is the Navy ROTC scholarship winner.
Wow.
Fun fact.
Congratulations to him. That one bounces off some apparatus up there, but if it stays on your side, it's playable, so they do continue. They free it across. There's a back set, big swing, down and in, off the arm of Luke Gabrielli.
Luke Gabrielli is the opposite. Opposite means he's playing on the right side of the court. It's actually also called weak side because it's the hardest place to hit. The ball actually has to cross your body before you play it if you're a right side or right-handed player.
There's an overpass, and here comes DeSales. Quick set, big swing, hammered down. Number 13, Zane Patterson with a swing off of the great set by Hoying.
Zane Patterson, Coach Velt says he's a basketball stud that came out for volleyball and is just dominating in the middle.
The right-handed swing by Hunsaker. Not a great pass and unable to be corralled. So a receiving error by Independence, and they're quickly in a hole, 7-1.
So we talked at the beginning of the match about DeSales was going to be a threat on the service line, and we're kind of seeing that here in this first set.
Floater, back row. Bump set to the outside. Big swing, blocked. Close one at the net and unable to play it, where the Stallions, the ball came down just on their side of the net, and I think there was some uncertainty.
Yeah, those tight balls are scary. You don't want to get hurt. You're not sure who's going to play it, but somebody does have to step in and say mine and just bring it back off the net.
Cubby Tripodi. Outside, into the net, or into the block, I should say. There for the block was Alex Eisenman, and he got a hand on it, but it dribbled down the front of him on his side of the net, so the ball goes back to the Stallions. Here's Gabrielli to serve. Quick one in the middle, pushed across, off the block, and that's a point for the Blue Devils. So when you find yourself down, I mean, they're only down 5, but they're down 5 early. When you find yourself kind of in a hole right out of the chute, what mindset do you take to try to climb back in?
You know, it becomes about making less errors. Just find a corner or find a tip, or in that case, use the blocker if at all possible.
That one off the touch, went out of bounds, so the point goes to the Stallions.
That ball was moving pretty fast, so even as a line judge, it was hard to see if it was touched, but the up referee made a great call, saw the ball hit off hands, and gave the ball over to the Stallions.
Evan Althouse to serve. Good jumper off the top of the tape, dug out. Set to the outside. White. Back set. Good swing. Kept alive. Free ball across. Quick set to the outside. Good long rally here. Hoying sets it to White. They keep it alive, push it across. Hoying once again, back row. Off the arm of number 19, that's Khalil McDonald. And the point goes to the Stallions, 10-3.
So in the guys' game, they use the back row attack more often, I think, than even girls do. And I think girls should do it more, but Althouse is running that pipe/bick in the back row. Unfortunately, he had that service error there, but it's very effective out of the back row.
The service error makes the score 10-4, and they give it right back on a service error from Landon Jacek, 11-4. And that sends Aaron Fermalon to the serving line. Fermalon, 5'10", he's a junior. Serves middle back, keeping it alive, into the middle block. Outside, trying to, left hand, does keep it inside the antenna. Outside, White, into the block, and in. We're on the opposite side. It was tough to see, but Eisenman was able to block that ball and keep it in play for the point for the Devils.
Cameron White is 5'11", which to me is pretty tall, but out there he looks kind of short. But he leads his team in aces, so I think he's just got to shake off a little bit of nerves here.
There's one that comes across, and trying to handle it was number 10, Jamie Panicki, but instead it hit his right hand and went to his right. Stallions lead at 12-5. Cameron Hoying, the 6'8" setter, serving. Outside, up, too long on a attack error by Spicagna.
Cameron Hoying is committed, or actually signed, to play for Lewis University next year.
He serves that one into the net. There have been a lot of coaches from colleges in and around the area today. As I've been walking through the stands between games, they're here watching their kids or hoping to get a few more to join their ranks.
I love that. I think this is just exposing more boys to more opportunities in the sport of volleyball.
Cameron White with the kill. And he goes to the serving line for the second time in this first set. His team leads by 8, 14-6. White, high toss, big swing. Received in the back row. Dumped across. Fermalon handled it, but it hit the scoreboard and it came onto the other side, and that means it's a dead play, and the point goes to the Blue Devils. If it had come down on their side, they could have continued to play it. White, overpass. Outside, big swing, down in front of Sonny Sears. And the Stallions lead it by 8, 15-7.
Smart decision for Hoying to get that ball to Althaus. You know, he has that great cross-court shot where he brings his thumb down, which we call a cut shot.
Hunsaker with the serve outside, cross-court, and they're going to call a Stallion in the net. I believe that's number 13.
Zane Patterson, yeah.
Sorry, no, yeah, Zane Patterson, yep. (15-8) as Christian Tripodi, known by his teammates as Cubby, goes to the serving line. Fermalon comes up with it, tossed across, handled it. There's an overpass, blocked though in the middle, well done. And that's a big turn of events for Landon Jacek and Independence, as he got a block and then was able to hammer it home to pick up the point.
That's what they needed, was the momentum shift. The momentum needed to shift to Independence side. Now the Blue Devils are controlling that, and let's see if they can hold on to it.
High bump. There's the second ball set to the back row. Coming on was Tripodi. This is going to be a free ball across. White sends it that way. Set to the outside, elevation. White handles it in the back row. Hoying with the set outside. Big swing. That's down for a point. Off the arm of number 15, Evan Althaus.
Althaus, just keep feeding him the ball. That's going to be the name of the game today.
And he's 6'6". You got the 6'8" setter, which maybe grabs some headlines, but Evan Althaus, 6'6" senior, and he's got good mechanics.
His brother Casey's also on the team. He's a sophomore. And Coach Felt says he's kind of the next big outside hitter for the team for future years.
Cross court. From the back row, White hammers it. Received by Tripaldi. Keeping it alive. Gonna have a free ball across. Hoying does it. At the net, nice center hit. And that's another point as Landon Jacek starting to get some momentum on his side.
So the Blue Devils are showing more of a quick, fast-paced game, where the Stallions are looking a little bit more laid back. And I think the Blue Devils could use that to their advantage.
Joey Jermasik serving. They got to free it across, and they do, deep. And White follows it to the line and lets it go out of bounds just barely. Stallions 17, Devils 10. And Evan Althaus goes to the serving line. High toss, good swing, received well. Bump set, up and down. Big swing by Wyatt Snyder for the point.
So again, that fast-paced game, we're seeing it come together for the Blue Devils. You can feel the energy starting to change in the gym. That's the exciting part about volleyball.
6'2" outside hitter. There's Cameron White. He's the 5'11" outside hitter. Tossed across. Battling at the net. No. Oh, nicely done. We've got a man in the net, though. A Stallion stepped in the net. That was Hoying. So the ball is going back to the Blue Devils.
We talked about the keys of the game for the Blue Devils was to get block touches, and they're doing that. They're doing that, which is slowing the ball down, allowing them to set up their offense.
It's a swing by Cameron White that got through the block and found the back row. 18-12. Stallions get the ball back, and it'll be Aaron Fermalon. Fermalon with the toss. There's an overpass. It goes out of bounds, so that's an ace for Fermalon. Point Stallions. (19-12). Fermalon again, the toss, the swing, big swing. Another overpass, big time hammer. That's why you have a 6'8" setter. Hoying went up and put that thing away. Timeout called by Independence.
Let's put this into perspective.
Yeah.
6'8" is the height of an average door in your house.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan is 6'6", so he's not even 6'8". Scottie Pippen is 6'8". Phil Dahlhauser, who's the GOAT out on the sand for beach volleyball, men's beach volleyball, you know, he's 6'9". I mean, this gentleman is huge.
Yeah.
And you just saw what he's capable of doing.
He got off the floor and hammered that ball with authority. And his team leads it by 8, 20-12 here in set number 1 of this 4th game of the day, second Division II semifinal matchup.
So this is Coach Felt's 5th year in the state tournament. We've talked about this is the first year for OHSAA that is overseeing this tournament. But since 1988, boys volleyball has been in existence for high school. They've just been self-governed. So this is the 5th time that he's been there. Evan Feltz, his son, played last year and is now currently playing at St. Francis University.
Nice. Fermalon with a jump serve. Second ball set, sent across, and they're going to call a double hit on Cubby Tripoldi, 21-12. And how's this for Evan Althouse so far in this first set? 7 kills on 8 attempts. He's hitting 875, not a single error.
That's a great number to have right there. Let's see if we can keep it.
Free ball across, Fermalon, quick one in the middle. Outside, dug up, nicely done. Got to send it across, they do. Free ball, Fermalon. Back row, big swing, kept alive. Free ball over, gonna be close. Hoying to the outside, big swing, kept alive again. Lots of room in this gym. Can they free it across? They can. The rally continues. Outside, White, big swing, it's in.
That is a great play by both teams. We're seeing pursuit of balls. We're seeing fast tempo, very aggressive. The Blue Devils got lots of touches on the block. And now they're going to take over possession of the ball.
They are. Fermalon with a serve into the net. 22-13 the score. So the Devils have some work to do to be sure here in set number 1. There's the toss and the swing. White swings, and this time he can't make the line. It goes out of bounds.
They've got some wiggle room here, and that's okay, but a lot of balls have been going to White on the outside. And I think Hoying needs to get Althouse back in the game, even though he's back row.
They go out to White again this time. Down the line, they try to keep it alive, and they can. Free ball across. Hoying back row, and that one's blocked.
It actually trickled down in front of Independence block, so it's considered a touch. It's going to go to the Stallions.
23-14. Bump set, way off the net. This one's going to be tight. Hoying keeps it alive, doesn't touch any net. That one's going to go long. So the ball comes back to Independence. They trail by 8, 23-15. Wyatt Snyder to serve. Back set, White, big swing, out. Real close, but he just missed it.
The sets haven't been in a location that's, you know, something that he can swing on. He's doing more of an off-speed shot, resulting in it going out of bounds.
That one's dug up. Bump for the 2 and free ball across. Fermalon to Hoying, outside, big swing, kept alive. Bump set, jumping from way off the net. Back row, too long.
I'm impressed. Independence is just doing great on those first ball contacts. They're taking care of serve receive, they're taking care of defense, and that starts to wear on a team when they think a ball is going to go to the floor and it doesn't.
Big hammer from the middle there. That was number 5, Michael Hunsaker. Off the set from Hoying, and now it's set point for the Stallions, 24-17.
Cameron White came in with 346 aces, and now he just got another one, and he had one earlier. He leads the team in aces.
That ace wins them set number 1. Stallions 25, Devils 17. As set number 1 is in the books. Number 2, just about 3 minutes away.
So this is Independent's first year with a team. Their girls team has made it state, I believe it was 5 times, but they haven't had any championships yet. They're doing a great job. These boys are very good at that, like I said, that first ball contact. They're taking care of the ball on serve receive. They're taking care of the ball on defense. It's just a matter of let's get the ball to the floor. I also love how they're getting lots of touches on the block.
They also are playing a bunch of players. They played 10 players that time around, whereas St. Francis DeSales basically just played 7. So they're playing a ton of kids. Landon Jatsik led the way as far as kills. 4 kills on 8 attempts with only 1 error, hitting 375. Those are pretty good numbers. DeSales as a team, though, hitting 282, and you said earlier, around 300 is where you'd love to be living.
Yeah, that's kind of where you need to be in order to win sets. However, there was such a huge lead beginning that hitting percentage may be null and void as far as, you know, is it really affecting their game? Yeah,
the other side is Evan Althouse, 8 kills and 11 attacks, only 1 error. He's hitting 636, which is just otherworldly at this point. Granted, only 1 set.
Now, Cameron White has received 16 balls and is hitting 0 because he has 4 kills and 4 errors. The way you do that math is you take your number of kills and you subtract your errors, and then you divide it by your total attempts, and he's at 0. So that's hopefully going to change. Maybe he's had just a little nerves he's got to break off here.
Second on the team in kills, but to your point, the errors have negated his hit percentage.
Lexi Procopius, who is the head coach for Independence, she played at Baldwin Wallace, so she's familiar with, you know, what this big stage looks like. So she's giving good advice on how to shake off those nerves. This doesn't matter. It's best out of 5. Let's go back out there and play our game.
Baldwin Wallace, another great Division III school in the state of Ohio, right? Out of the Ohio Athletic Conference. So set number 2 about to get underway. Of course, Jackie, you played at Ohio State. You played D1, went big time.
I did,
right?
yeah.
Big stuff.
Grew up in Colorado, was recruited to play here. I was a setter. That's why if I was 6'8", as a setter, dude, I would have made a lot of money.
Yes, you would have.
But no, excited to still be here in the Columbus area and helping with lots of youth volleyball as much as I can.
That's exciting. We'll talk more about that as we roll along right now. First serve is off the net for Sears, but it stays in play. But there's Cameron White, who goes up, and man, that guy can elevate, and he powers that ball.
Yep, and of course he's the first server because we saw that he just dominates in aces. Like we said, he's now at 348 aces for the year.
He serves back row, and that one's blocked. Therefore, the block was number 8, Luke Gabrielli, and trying to clear that block was Landon Jatsik. He didn't have a good swing on the ball, and Gabrielli able to knock it back. 2-0 Stallions. White To serve it again. Big swing. Ace.
Wow.
It's got such dive on that ball. It's amazing.
It's just dropping, and the speed on the velocity on that. I recently worked with a coach that talked about how serving is more about velocity. How fast can you get that ball onto a passer?
Well, he hit that ball like a rocket, but it went just long, so the point goes to the Devils, and they get the serve. Christian Tripodi, the 5'10 senior setter. I love his story. I love the fact that he's been a big part of this team for 3 years, and this year they said, we really need a setter, and he said, I'll step up, coach. And there's a set to the outside, coming strong. Fermalon bumps it back. And a little bit of a pacing issue there for Evan Althouse. He had a little trouble at the net. The ball fell in his side, so the Devils get the point. They trail by 1.
Tripodi doing a good job of just making sure this ball continues to go in so they can continue to climb the ladder of points.
Into the block, trying to keep it alive, but they can't do it. Good set by Hoying, maybe a little tight, but Gabrielle hits it into the block, and the point goes to the Devils. We're tied at 3.
Here's that momentum thing. So Independence we see is fast-paced. The Stallions are just a little bit more laid back. Unfortunately, that serving error is just gonna change that momentum back over to the Stallions side.
Stallions take the lead on that service error, 4-3. Michael Hunsaker, received in the back row, quick one at the middle, pushed across, out of bounds. That set was a little bit out of rhythm with Landon Jacek, and he couldn't keep it between the white lines.
The Blue Devils need to continue to limit their errors, something like that. That was kind of a brain fart. They just need to keep the ball in bounds.
That's a great dig, but that is a huge hammer down. Zane Patterson in the middle on the overpass, puts it down inside the 10-foot line, perhaps inside the 5-foot line if there was such a thing.
He was pretty excited about that too. He did a little victory lap.
Little dance. 6-3, Stallions on top. Hunsaker for his 3rd serve. In the middle. The left-handed swing by Landon Jacek into the block again, and it comes straight down.
So actually, it went out of bounds. It's hard to see from our perspective because of the glare, but it actually did travel out of bounds. So did that. So it hit the antenna. Anytime the ball hits the antenna, it's considered out of bounds.
So Jermasik serves and then goes back to the bench. He's replaced by Khalil McDonald. Gabrielle serves it. Back set quick, pushed across. Dug out, kept alive, nicely done. Trying to handle it was Wyatt Snyder, but it went off his arms and backwards, so that's going to be another point for the Stallions.
So the Stallions are doing a good job on chaotic balls or weird situations. They're just getting it in and almost letting the Blue Devils make the mistake.
Gabrielle, good reception in the back, up hard, off the touch. White keeps it alive, Hoying to the outside.
Totally legal, allowed to kick the ball.
There's one off the block, great effort, oh my goodness. So the Blue Devils giving it all they got, including a less than, Fundamental play.
But totally legal, and it makes the game way more fun to watch.
Back row reception, moving it quick. Fermalon, Hoying to the outside, big swing, that's blocked. Off the touch. A good up. There's a left-handed swing sent to the back row. White comes up with it. Hoying to the outside. And that's down for the point. Althouse was the swinger, but there for the block included Wyatt Snyder, and they got the block 9-5. Stallions on top.
Independence is scrappy. I mean, when it comes to defense, they're not doing anything special. They're just getting it straight up, and they're doing a great job.
Tight to the net. Great job by the 6'8" setter, Hoying, to keep it alive and not touch the net. And so the Stallions get the point and get the serve back.
So Coach Feltz said that they actually practice this. They shoot the ball like it's going over on the pass, but then Hoying's right there. He just jumps and plays it, so it makes the offense even faster.
Back row swing. The tape slowed it way down, and it fell just inside the center of the shell. So Althouse gets another kill. 11-5, Stallions on top. And Althouse to the serving line. That's going to be an overpass. Fermalon, quick one in the middle. Nope, to the outside. Swung and hit out of bounds.
So in the arena here, we have this scoreboard that's above us. You can see it in the screen. It's very low. And in the boys volleyball, men's volleyball world, you're really having to be careful about the height of your plays.
That serve goes right into the net. You're exactly right. And if it hits the scoreboard and comes back down on your side, you can play it, assuming it's not the third hit. But if it hits the scoreboard and goes across the net, then it's a dead ball, and the other team gets the point.
And immediately called dead and given the point. Yeah, I can't play it out.
There's a swing that goes down in the back corner. Nicely done by Joey Spicagna. Oh, they're going to call it out.
They're going, yep. So he overruled the line judge, calling it out despite the line judge calling it in. Because actually, when the ball is traveling toward you as a line judge, it's really hard to see. It's almost easier to see a ball that's further away from you.
Fermalon serves that one into the net. 13-7, Stallions have the advantage, and to the serving line goes Wyatt Snyder. Snyder serves. Quick one in the middle, blocked. Back set to White. Cross court. Set to the middle. Free ball across. To the outside, White. Kept alive, gonna be tight. Trying to keep it alive, they do. Bump set. Cross court. Hoying, set to the back row. Altman hammers it off of Jamie Panicki, and the point goes to the Stallions.
So the Blue Devils just being scrappy again, just keeping the ball alive, but at some point, they have to get the ball to the floor fast. You can't just keep sending free balls and expect the Stallions, who are pretty fundamentally sound, to make an error, because they're probably not going to.
That was a service error for the Stallions. It's about all you can hope for. And so now it'll be Anderson Sonny Sears to the serving line. And he hits that one way too hard. So a service error, one begets the other.
You know, one thing that surprises me today, we've seen a lot of servers, they make contact really close to the end line. I mean, I'm waiting for the line judge to call a foot fault. But they have a lot of room that they could back up and not make that type of an error.
Big left-handed swing by Landon Jacek, but he can't keep it in the field of play. 16-8, Stallions lead it. Cameron White, big jump serve. And there's another ace for White. Went cross court, got it to dive right inside the white line.
Coach Feltz talked a lot about his serving. I mean, it's very unpredictable. It'll change direction, and not only from an up and down direction, but now a sidewinder type direction.
It's remarkable what he's able to do. And so a timeout is called on the court by head coach Lexi Prokopius. Her team trailing 17-8 here in set number 2. They lost set number 1, 25-17. The Blue Devils are game. They've been playing hard. They need some things to go their way.
They must do a lot of drills in practice where it's a lot of defensive movements, a lot of covering, a lot of pursuing a ball off of a block touch, because they're very good at that. So that's a huge strength for them. So now it's a matter of they've got to spread out the block, so that they can get the ball to the floor easier and not have to navigate around a huge block in front of them.
Ian Babb recently inserted into the game for Independence, wears number 24, middle back row at the moment. Cameron White out of the timeout. A chance to serve another one. Jumper serves Babb, who receives it well. Fermalon. Outside is Hoying. Altman into the block, and that'll be a point for the Stallions.
Yeah, that quick tempo offense, Independence, the block's just not there and pressed over early enough.
Jacek was in the vicinity, but he's too far off the net, and the ball just basically hit him and fell down.
Right.
Good reception off the big swing. Cross court, but out of bounds. Trying to guide it in there was Noah Tirano. Cameron White. The toss. Big swing, caught the top of the net, but could not go over.
So that's a service error, that's okay. He's been going back there and just ripping them. You know, typically as a coach, you're trying to encourage, if you're gonna make an error, make it long versus into the net, but with that way he puts the spin on it, I expect that every once in a while.
Altman swings, hits it too far. Althouse, excuse me, hits it too far, out of bounds. 19-10, Stallions have the lead. The Devils have the serve. Christian Tripodi. White receives it. Back set. Gabrielli off the touch. That'll be a point for DeSales. The lead is 10.
So he got a touch, but that's exactly what the Blue Devils need to continue to do, is try to touch those balls because slow the ball down, because anything coming fast is going to be harder to dig.
Hunsaker to serve. That one is a service error, or receiving error, I should say. Off the arms of Sonny Sears and out of play.
We talked at the beginning of the match about how we were going to see the Stallions dominate from the service line, and that's been what's happening over the past two sets.
Quick one in the middle, pushed across, finds the line. Nicely done that time by Jacek.
Hey, that's not a bad strategy. I mean, Cameron Hoying's got a long way to go to get down to the ground, so those off-tempo shots might be smart.
21-11. Trying to keep it alive. Free ball across. Outside, big swing and down. Goodness gracious. Althouse inside the 10-foot line, hammered.
Yeah, and Alec Heisman just looked back at his teammates and said, he went over me. There was nothing I could have done about that.
22-11. Gabrielli to serve, into the net. Another service error, 22-12. Jacek to serve. And just out.
So again, a service error, out of bounds, deep, is usually looked at it as a coach like, okay. But a service into the net is almost unacceptable.
So substitution as Althouse will give way
to his
to
brother,
Althouse. Yeah.
Althouse.
So Evan gives way to Casey. Casey, the 6'2 sophomore, who, as you mentioned earlier, Coach Feltz said is the next big thing for the outside hitter position.
And that's a very smart decision by Coach Feltz. You know, you want that type of player to get the opportunity to be in the game on this big stage. So if it happens in future years, Casey understands exactly what it feels like.
His serve was good, but the point went to Independence. So substitution for the Blue Devils is number 21, Braden Lisowski. He serves White. Back set, or front set, I should say, and that's White who finds the perfect spot for it. As Khalil McDonald was a little bit out of position, the ball found no man's land, and the point goes to the Stallions. Hunsaker back into the game. A little confusion as to where he's supposed to be. And Michael Massman will serve. Serves middle back. Bumped up on the second. Across the net. Massman handles it. Hoying outside. White, big swing into the block, kept alive. Set to the outside. It's close. Punched across. Hoying, back row to Althouse, who can't find the back line. It's out of play.
But a big swing. First swing of the day for him. So impressive that he was brave enough to go up and take that full approach with a fast arm swing.
Yeah. Good swing, tight at the net. And that's down in front of Wyatt Snyder, and that's the 25th point of the second set. Stallions get the victory in set number 2, 25-14. So 25-17, 25-14 are the scores of the first two sets. And now Independence has some work to do, trailing by 2, I should say.
So the head coach for the Stallions, Dr. Andy Feltz, he's an optometrist in Westerville. And he founded the boys program in 2009. He's been to the state for the boys 5 times.
Wow.
But he also coached the girls from 2013 to 2016, where they went to the Final Four in 13 and 14. So, I mean, he's done a big thing for the Stallions as far as establishing good volleyball. And it's fun. I talked to him. He's thinking of maybe stepping down, but he loves the game, and it's fun to talk to somebody who's passionate about things like volleyball.
I wonder if you can get me to stop having to wear these readers. That's what I would really love to see happen.
Hey, make an appointment.
The contest from the serving line, she came really close last time. This time she misses pretty badly, so she still gets points. Fabulous prizes chosen especially for her. All the contestants all day long have done a great job. And good sports, which we love.
I love that the benches aren't in a huddle talking.
Right.
They're actually cheering on the fan that's trying to score the money. It's hilarious.
Prizes for everybody. So the Blue Devils in their huddle, the Stallions in their huddle, they are battling for the opportunity to face St. Vincent St. Mary's tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. St. Vincent St. Mary's beat Archbishop McNicholas in the first semifinal, 25-23, 25-23, 25-15. And then earlier today in the Division I semifinals, Olentangy Liberty beat Dublin Jerome 25-13, 25-17, 25-16. And in the second semifinal, Archbishop Moeller defeated the Hudson Explorers 15-25, 25-20, 25-16, 25-20. That broke Hudson's undefeated streak of 23 straight games and sent the Crusaders on a quest to take on Olentangy Liberty. That one will start at noon tomorrow, and then ours will be at 3 o'clock tomorrow in the Division II state championship. Both of them from Wittenberg. Great tickets still available if you'd like to come out, but of course, you can always join us on NFHS and the OHSAA.
So looking through the stats, we talked about at the beginning of the match how the Stallions were probably going to dominate from the service line, and that is true. They've had 49 total serves with 7 aces. And if we look at Independence, they haven't had any aces. So the Stallions are taking care of business, that's for sure, when it comes to the service line. Now, Independence is taking care of business when it comes to digs, touching the block, but they're just not dominating at the net. I mean, we're looking at a 0.59 hitting percentage, and without being closer to that 3-0, it's almost impossible to win.
2 of those aces from DeSales came from the man who just served it, Cameron White. White hits from the back row, received, sent cross, and out of play. So the Stallions lead at 1-0 in this third set after the miss hit by Wyatt Snyder. White cleans the grit from the bottom of his shoes. And the toss. Overpass. Firmalon. Outside. Big swing and down. Goodness gracious, Althouse.
There's a big target in the middle of the floor, and Althouse keeps hitting it. Right
in the middle, yes ma'am.
12-foot line.
White once again leading 2-0. Jumper. Bump set. Free ball across. Pushes it. Keeps it alive. Gets it inside the antenna. Hoying back set. That's out of bounds.
It's a
good
smart
effort.
Play though. So they ran a outside high ball, a 31, which is the first tempo, but then set the C, which means now the block's spread out. They have to commit to the 31 because it was just set. And unfortunately, he just hit it out of bounds. There's that situation we talked about where the ball traveled over the net, hit the scoreboard, and then came down on the other side, and the referees immediately called that out of bounds.
3-0 Stallions have the advantage because of that. And the server now is Michael Hunsaker. Pushed across, White comes up with it. They keep it alive with Gabrielli. Close, big swing off the hand of White. That's gonna be a point for Landon Jacek. 3-2 Stallions on top.
That's the rhythm that Independence needs to get. Get the ball to the middle fast. Get the ball to the middle fast.
Christian Cubby Tripodi. Firmalon, Hoying. Into the block, but a point for DeSales as it hit and went straight down the Independence side of the net. 4-2.
So the game of volleyball is made up in basically 3 parts. You've got patterns that you have to run, there's angles, and there's mistakes. And obviously the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is gonna win. But if you run your patterns well and you focus on blocking angles and hitting angles, you're gonna also score points.
There's an attack error at the front. Tough set that was unable to be handled by Landon Jacek, so the point goes to the Stallions. They're up 5-2. Luke Gabrielli serves it. Back set. Jacek hits it hard, but hits it out. And it seems tough. Jacek is a lefty, and it seems tough when that ball's coming that way that he doesn't just swing across his body and he sends it out of bounds more often than not.
Yeah, that's just he just needs to continue to watch the ball. He may be taking his eye off of it.
That one is an ace as it rolls up Wyatt Snyder's arm and out of bounds. 7-2, and that causes Lexi Prokopius to call a timeout. 7-2, Stallions lead the Devils in this third set. And in the match, 2-0. One thing you notice, though, about this Independence team is you've got Anderson Sears, who's a freshman, and he's playing a lot of time. You got Jamie Panecki, who's a freshman, and he's getting some time. You've got some key sophomores in Noah Toronto, Braden Lazowski, and Ian Babb. So when the season is over, in fact, I'm seeing just two seniors, right?
Yeah, but Tripodi, who is setting for them, is a senior, so someone's going to have to step up and be that leader, that quarterback for future years. But yeah, if they're able to make it to this stage, and honestly, it's their ball handling. They're really doing a great job on their ball handling.
Yeah, Tripodi, the only setter on the roster listed as such, so it will be interesting to see what happens a year from now.
So a yellow card was just given to St. Francis DeSales because of delay of game. They didn't come out of their timeout fast enough, but a yellow card is just a warning. It's just you're delaying things, please don't do it again.
The next card is a red card, and that's when a penalty can be called. Quick, push across. Back row, Cameron White. It's kept alive, set to the outside. White digs it, it's gonna be tight. A little late getting into his jump was Jacek, and of course Hoying was there to put that one away, 8-2.
Yeah, the Stallions need to keep passing the ball tight so that Hoying has the option. Am I going to set it or just throw it to the floor?
Gabrielli serves it too far. Good job getting out of the way that time by Anderson Sears. Going to the serving line is number 14, Joey Jermasik. The toss, the swing. Fermalon comes up with it, quick one, bang.
Did you
Up
see
and
that
down,
play?
yes ma'am, Zane Patterson.
That was a dance move set with a spin back set to the middle, which is a one. Oh, they call it an A off 1 foot. Really exciting.
So they're going to bring Althouse to the sideline and invite Aaron Tran to come on and serve. Tran is a setter, 5'6" junior. Cross court, Tran handles it. Hoying outside, White, big swing, dug out. Free ball across. White finds the gap between Eisenman and Sears for the point.
It's nearly impossible to even guess who Hoying's going to set, especially when he jump sets. You know, you have to commit to him and expect him to dump. Then there's a quick tempo attack coming out of the middle, and then he delivers the ball to the outside. I mean, it's impossible to know and to get two blockers on that.
There's one to the middle, and once again, Zane Patterson with a chance to hammer it home.
Same scenario, perfect pass. Hoying jumps to set, so you have to commit with him because he's front row, and then he delivers the quick attack to Zane, and so it's a one-on-one situation.
And there's a serve that gets played out of bounds by number 22, Wyatt Snyder. 12-3. The Stallions have the lead. Tran to serve again. That one is an ace down in front of Sonny Sears.
The Blue Devils can't give up, though. I mean, their strengths are right now serve receive. So just continue to watch the bottom of the ball. There's the two pass that we talked about earlier. Yep. Just keep rolling with it. Keep rolling with it.
That attack went long, no touch, so Tran will continue to serve. And you got to love this when you bring a guy off the bench and he serves 5 in a row, causing a timeout to be called.
And that's hard. I used to be that serving specialist. Your arm's cold, and then you come in, and there's a lot of pressure. So, yeah, he's doing a great job.
Timeout on the court, 14-3 the score. Stallions on top of the Devils in this third set. Want to remind you can join us tomorrow for state championship games on both divisions. Division 1 is at noon. Michelle Mimna will join me, and then Division 2 is at 3. And it'll be Jackie and I once again with the Fighting Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary taking on either the Stallions or the Devils. Right now the Stallions in the driver's seat, up 2-0. And in this third set, up 14-3.
So this is the first year OHSAA is overseeing this state tournament because they added boys volleyball is a sanctioned sport, and they also added girls wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's cool about the girls wrestling is hopefully that carries over into the collegiate world, which will now open up more opportunities for boys volleyball, whether it be boys beach or boys indoor for teams, you know, at the collegiate level. This game is just going to continue to grow.
Love that. Volleyball is a great sport. It's a lifetime sport, a lifestyle sport, though at a different level, certainly.
The beach volleyball game for women collegiately is just growing exponentially. So I expect the boys or the men's side of it to kind of catch hold here real soon. So
here's Aaron Tran once again. Trying to keep it alive in the middle. Big swing, that's out. Good effort by Landon Jacek, but he can't get it between the lines. 16-3.
You mentioned he's left-handed, and it's really hard to be a left-handed middle. Kind of like we talked about earlier, if you're on the right side or an opposite, it's called weak side because the ball has to travel across your body, and that's exactly what he's encountering in the middle.
17-3. Yeah, and as you talked about, a good 3 or even a 2 pass may give the setter an opportunity to put Jacek in a better place to be successful. But when you're just trying to get that ball up in the air, now he's at the mercy of whatever kind of set he gets.
Because this is something we see a lot in boys and men's volleyball is our guys are so tall and so long that they actually can touch the ball on the other side of the net. But the rules state the ball has to cross the net a little bit before you can touch it. And that's exactly what just happened and why Independence got the ball.
Outside, big swing, goodness gracious. That's the younger Althaus, Casey Althaus, hammering that one home.
I think he got upset that he got called for that and just said, take that.
The sophomore says, my brother may get more minutes, but I'm going to get the hit of the night.
Michael Massman just came in for DeSales as a middle.
Aaron Fermalon with the serve, and the ball was out of bounds, went across the net, but on the outside of the antenna, off the hands of Alex Eisenman. 19-4. Fermalon set to go again. The toss. That's going to be 4 hits, as we saw a little pinball wizard going on, bouncing off a number of different players.
Fermalon's doing a good job. He's a phenomenal libero. He's digging balls. He's a threat on the back line.
And he's got a pretty impressive jump serve.
Yes, he does.
Fermalon outside, big swing, down between number 19, Khalil McDonald, and number 5, Sonny Sears.
Now, this is what high school sports is about. Andy Feltz just subbed in some of the underclassmen and took out his best player. You know, it's about letting people have experiences,
right?
And I commend that.
Cole Sheeran is the young man who's come in. He's wearing number 6 in the middle of the back row. There's a dig, bump set. Fermalon outside. Another point for Casey Althaus. That one into the block. 22-4.
Dominic Trolley for DeSales came in. He's playing right side in the front row. He's a freshman.
Fermalon a little too strong. That one didn't have any bite on the downward motion, so it just kind of floated beyond the back line. 22-5. Yeah, Trolley wears number 3. He's a 5'11 freshman, as you mentioned. He's a setter on the roster. Good serve by Braden Lazowski. Tossed across and down in front of Sonny Sears.
So we've got freshman Trolley setting, and he just delivered the ball to Michael Massman in the middle for that quick attack.
And now Liam Rice comes in. He's wearing number 17. He's a 6'1 junior middle blocker. Sends it across. And that brings up match point for the Stallions, 24-5. And the freshman Trolley to serve. Outside. A dig. Good reception. Keeping it alive outside. Out.
Just out of bounds.
So Althaus leaves it a little long, 24-6. And the serve will come to Wyatt Snyder.
The Stallions are bringing in number 11, Ian Shannon, to receive this ball.
Shannon, a sophomore.
Now the second referee just informed Coach Feltz that his team might be out of rotation. And a lot of times the second referee will give you that courtesy of, hey, something's not right. So he moved it.
Well, that happens a lot when you've got these substitutions, players that don't play together very often. Outside, big swing down the line, it's in. And that'll do it. Liam Rice sent it down the far sideline, and it fell inside the line just barely. And DeSales gets the win in the third set, 25-6.
I'm excited to see St. Vincent, St. Mary's, and DeSales matched up tomorrow. They both are very fundamentally sound. Now, St. Vincent, St. Mary's runs a very fast offense, so we're going to need to see DeSales step up as far as energy and excitement and pace of the game.
Independence giving the officials some love after they're done shaking hands with the Stallions. And they will head off into the sunset with nothing to hang their heads about. Independence came into this one with a record of 10-4 overall. A young team, only one setter on the team, and he wasn't a setter when the season started. So just great resiliency, great hard work by this Independence team who finds their season ending today with a record of 10-5. St. Francis DeSales improves their record to 19-4, and they will play tomorrow against St. Vincent St. Mary's Fighting Irish from the Akron area. And so that'll be an exciting matchup at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If you'll put on your coach's hat and maybe pull out your crystal ball and give me a sense of what you're thinking about for that matchup right now.
I don't think we saw the full potential of DeSales today, but I was very impressed with the tempo and speed that St. Vincent St. Mary's was able to play at, getting the ball to Guzman as a go set, back row at Bix. So that might throw off DeSales as far as that tempo goes. We'll see, though.
Yeah, we will. It'll be interesting to see what their response is after having a game, a set where really Independence didn't really challenge them the way that they've been challenged at other times. So when they come out tomorrow, will they come out ready for a team like St. Vincent St. Mary, and what will that look like? Lots of storylines to consider as we sleep fast tonight and get ready for two big state championship games tomorrow afternoon. Can't wait.
I can't wait to. Thanks, OHSAA, for allowing us to do this.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us after a long day of volleyball from Pam Evans Smith Arena. We will just invite you to come back tomorrow at noon and 3 for the state championships. As we mentioned, St. Vincent St. Mary's and St. Francis DeSales in the second matchup at 3 o'clock. The first one will be the Olentangy Liberty Patriots and the Archbishop Moeller Crusaders in Division I. That one will serve first at noon. Until then, thank you so much for watching and listening, for being a part of all the excitement of this first ever OHSAA State Championship weekend. We invite you back tomorrow. Until then, for Jackie Klein, I'm Chris Solwecki. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Have a great night, everybody.